Hey everyone, this is Ben from Valley's End Apiary. This house has a problem. There are honeybees getting into the bathroom and coming out of the wall outside. The first step was to try to figure out where the bees had built their hive. I can see them coming and going from behind the air conditioning unit in the corner where the two walls come together. I decide to check in the wall to the right because that is the bathroom where the bees are finding their way inside. Time to get my tools together. I match up the best sized drill bit to match the borescope I borrowed from a friend at work. I need to get my smoker lit so I can push some smoke into the beehive's outside entrance. Smoke stimulates a mechanism in the bees where they fear their hive is on fire, so they rush inside and fill up their honey stomach so they'll have more food in case they need to relocate. It makes them lethargic and more reluctant to sting or be aggressive. Long ago, humans learned to harness this response to allow them to work with the bees to harvest some of their honey without being stung. It's part of every beekeeper's tool bag to avoid stressing the hive when we inspect the hives to make sure they're healthy. Smoke also covers any alarm pheromone released by guard bees and covers our human scent that may trigger some bees to defend their hive. Some disassembly is required. I need to remove spouting and some of the vinyl siding to get access into the wall. My first job after high school was in construction, which comes in handy. In fact, I helped build this house and some of the other houses in this development. It's been 27 years, and there has been an addition on this house, so the memory is not very detailed, unfortunately.
Hey. Hey, Sheldon. You okay with being on YouTube?
Sure.
Okay. This is Daniel.
How's it
He
going?
heard we were doing this. He's like, you want a cameraman?
I've actually watched stuff like this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Backup has arrived. My friend Sheldon has agreed to give me a hand as an opportunity to learn more about bees. I'm not sure how big this hive will be and how the comb may be attached inside the wall. An extra hand might be very welcome, especially working around the air conditioning unit. Now I'm removing the first rows of siding. This is so I can check for heat, which is an indicator of the hive location inside the wall. At the base of the beehive entrance, there was a pile of yellow substance that I thought was chewed up plywood or insulation sheets. It was wax flakes. The bees had everything covered in little flakes of yellow wax.
At least one decently strung back. If the hive is of any size, they usually attach to the outside because the inside is all insulation. So when we cut it loose, yeah, they should be down at the bottom there. It may be fairly heavy depending on how much honey's in it.
Gotcha.
And when I was here the other day, there was just bees coming and going like crazy, and I was like, well, that's probably going to be a pretty good sized hive.
Where do you put it in here?
So this is the bee vac box. I have a hole in the back for the shop vac to hook into, and then a long hose that comes from this port.
So you'll suck them and it goes in here.
Yeah, and there's a layer that's got a screen on it to keep them from getting sucked in.
I see it. Yeah.
And I'll lay it on its side, and that way once we're done I can just pop the straps, because this screen piece is screwed on with just a couple screws. I can pull the bottom off, and that way they'll stay nice and cool. They won't be as likely to overheat sitting, we'll try to put them in the shade as much as we can.
If you get the queen, they'll all go to the queen, right?
Well, yeah, I have queen clips. Before we pull this down, I'm going to need to grab a queen clip, and then I can, if we see, while I'm sucking them up, I'll be looking for the queen. If I see her, I'll stick her in the queen clip. That way I've got her contained rather than having her banging through the tube and maybe getting dismembered or something.
Gotcha.
And we'll just keep her in the car with us. These will ride in the trailer. I'm pretty confident that they're not going to be escaping from it, but I'd rather have them escaping in the trailer into the open air than into our vehicle. I think Daniel would prefer that too.
My homemade bee vac. Rough but functional.
I think we found them. You want to take a look? That warm spot was a dead giveaway. No pressure.
We spend a little time talking with the property owner, a fellow follower of Jesus, while we remove the siding and try to figure out how high in the wall the bees are.
You remember? Said Larry Benz, because they knew me as a stoner and troublemaker and all that crap. Yeah, so just from an invitation,
Yeah.
26 years ago. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
But it's kind of cool how you probably won't be able to appreciate this, but we are the first Christian club. It's unprecedented.
No sign of the bees this high.
I know one guy who's
Sounds like cream cheese.
I remove a little more siding to access the wallboard.
So if you want to really wow people, there's a device called sous vide. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
And it blows people away. This is not even well. There, yeah, that's what it's called. And then they ask me how I do it, and I lie. I tell them I use plums in the marinade or something.
Next, I cut off the plywood at the studs to have something to attach it to when we go back together. Little prying, and bingo, I see bees.
Oops, sorry. All right, so they didn't build on this stuff.
I gotta see it. I'm living on the edge.
They're pretty calm.
We're never noted to be that smart. Holy crap, that's cool.
And there's probably a bunch more. So we're gonna hook up the vacuum and start sucking them up. I just want to look for the queen a little bit here.
Can you hear me?
No,
Oh,
I want to look for it here.
I
said.
thought you said listen.
A little more smoke keeps them calm. They're under a shallow floor on top of a concrete slab. Not much room to work. This is compounded by the presence of the air conditioning unit.
That's kind of what my gut was telling me, and I was like, nah, they'll be in the wall. They'll be in the wall.
So do we have to access that from?
Well, we'll see how accessible it is.
My BVAC here is powered by my shop vac. I'm able to regulate the pressure so that the bees aren't sucked too rapidly through the hose and dismembered as they go. A shop vac by itself would be way too much vacuum. I set the pressure up just high enough to tug at my t-shirt. The end of the hose is used to break the bee's grip on the wood, and then there is just enough suction to pull them up into the hose. It takes a couple tries to get it high enough. As I vacuum, I'm constantly looking for the queen. I have a queen clip just in case.
Sheldon. Not yet. In the back of the truck, there's a whole bunch of white buckets.
Okay.
If you want to bring them, we'll use them for putting all the honeycomb and
Okay.
brood comb into.
The honeycomb slowly emerges as the bees are gently removed.
While I'm doing this, I'm looking for the queen.
As I remove the comb, I'm checking the brood for signs of health issues.
She'll be about twice as long as these girls that I'm sucking up here. Oh, there's some honey. Some nectar anyway.
So what's the difference between honey and nectar?
Nectar isn't capped. It's still dehydrating, waiting for the moisture level to get to where they want it.
Honey is dehydrated nectar?
Yep. Oop, you want a piece of comb.
Working blind means I have to feel my way, seeing with my fingers.
I don't know until I get my head down.
Be very slow and gentle. Don't push hard. Bees don't mind being bumped out of the way, but they don't like being squished.
But it does go up above here. It's probably coming up built on the top of this. I'm just trying to take it off in chunks here.
Guys? Or girls?
Yep. I haven't seen any drones yet. All right, where's the queen?
You got that clip?
Right here.
Yeah. So you're going to use all new wire?
These won't leave wire. However many rubber bands we need to kind of hold these in place.
I got you. Who that?
Carrie checking on you?
Probably. Know how many times you got stung.
Yeah.
Hey, honey.
We rubber band the comb onto empty frames to use when we get the bees back to my bee yard. The bees will be attracted to the smell of comb and the honeybee brood on them. They'll fill the gaps in between the pieces of comb with new comb.
I don't know what time it is. Yeah, no trouble. Yep. All right. Yep. That's fine.
So we'll just fit them in there like a jigsaw puzzle. If we need to add more rubber bands, get them in key locations.
All the bees are removed. I checked with the borescope to make sure there were no pockets of bees hiding anywhere. Haven't seen the queen, so I am a little nervous. We close up the wall, sealing up the entrance and putting all the siding, shutter, and downspouts back in place. It goes pretty easy because we marked everything as we took it apart. The bee vac is open for the trip back to keep the bees from overheating. Here you can see the screen that keeps the bees from being sucked through the box and into the shop vac. It's a double layer of 1/8-inch screen mesh with a layer of window screen on top of it. I spray a 1-to-1 sugar water mixture on the bees to keep them calm and give them some moisture on a hot day. I did this before we left the house as well. Remember all that comb we pulled out of the wall? I put it in the bottom deep box and add another deep to give them plenty of space. There's a lot of bees. They filled up their little space to the max. It wouldn't have been long before they would have been out of room. For the hiving, I suit up. Sometimes they aren't happy when you shake them out of their box. I had put on straps and then removed the screws that hold the screen layer on the bottom of the bee vac until I have the box in place. Then I can remove the straps and the bottom comes off so I can remove the bees. Lots of bees. Don't worry. Their sisters will release pheromones for any that take off or fall down so they can find their way back to their new home.
They're just marching straight down in. Just avoid any fast motion. You can see them just like walking right down through the slots. They got that whiff of their brood in there, and they're just crawling right down in.
I place the box on top so they can crawl down into the hive box and leave them be until the next morning.
I wonder if you can find the queen.
I'm happy to report that the week after I hive them, I went into the hive and found the queen and lots of new brood. Success! Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. Until next time, hope you have a blessed day.